Hey kids, we're back. Now, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them. Yeah. We're live from Music Makers NY. You're watching Guitar Quackery Live. And yeah, we're about to finish a project that's over there on the bench. So, why don't I make a dramatic entrance? This is like smoke machine. All right. We have this bass here. You are watching now part 13 of this playlist. Part 13, which is the final setup and restringing. I didn't say restringing and setup. I did say setup and restringing. And that's because, sorry, I'm going to do the first part of the setup with the old strings on, okay? Yeah, so why do we do this? I try to resolve as many issues as I can with the old strings on, especially because the new strings are going to be the same exact gauge, the same exact type of strings. So this time the customer provided the strings. These are the strings. Yeah. Is this going to focus? Okay. It's roto sound, swing bass, 45 to 105. So those are the same exact strings that are on the bass right now. Okay. I had to shim the neck. So if you watched part 12, you saw me shim the neck. And then I took a break. I had to do some phone calls, some text messages, etc. And I also kind of looked at it and I wasn't getting enough height on the saddles. So if you watch part 12, I explained that. I don't want to repeat everything here. So I had shimmed the neck initially. I don't know how many days ago. And then I shimmed it again just earlier today, and I had to shim it again. And that's because I wasn't getting enough of a break angle across the G saddle. So also I could shim it more, but I really can't do that because if I shim it even more, so the objective is to, well, there are a few objectives: to have a good break angle across the saddle, and also to bury these screws. So now they're still sticking out a little bit. But if I shim it more, that's going to increase the distance between the pickups. And yeah, I can raise the pickups, but you know, I don't want them sticking out all the way. So I think I'm good this way. The bass is in tune now, and I had it on the bench for a few minutes in tune, and it was also stored in tune. So the first thing we want to do is to check the neck relief, make sure it's good. These pickguard screws are not tight all the way. If I need to remove the pickguard to access the truss rod adjustment, it's right there. Another reason to shim the neck, because it exposes this a little bit better. Yep, so let me just check it quickly. where I put my feeler gauges, over here. Okay, and right now I don't even have an audience. So if you are listening to this, you are not watching me live, because I have 0 viewers as we speak at this exact time. But somebody might be watching this in replay. If you're watching it in replay. So just a quick recap here. The bass initially came in for a setup, and we ended up doing a refret and fingerboard correction. So yeah, let me show you. This is 11/1000ths of an inch, and it's kind of not wanting to go through. So I don't have a 10/1000ths, I have an 8/1000ths that goes through easily. 11 gets stuck. If I kind of wiggle it, maybe, yeah, now it goes through, okay? And now that's the one, right? And now if I transfer this to the other side, 11/1000ths goes through more easily. But the next one is 12/1000ths. Not really. Okay. So I put in a little bit of a differential relief, probably about 1/1000th of an inch. I am a metric person in my mind, but I do use these thousandths of an inch and imperial system to measure the string height and the neck relief. And that's because on the string height, the numbers are really good. So it goes 60, 70, 80, 90, 1/1000th of an inch, etc., right? And the feeler gauges, well, here in the United States, you can easily buy the imperial ones. They do have a metric equivalent written on, but let's say the 5/1000ths of an inch is 0.127 millimeters, so that's not rounded off, right? These are basically imperial feeler gauges. So that's what I have. Also, if you think about it, the string gauges, 45, 65, 80, 105, are actually imperial measurements. That's 45/1000ths of an inch, 65/1000ths, 80/1000ths, 105/1000ths of an inch. So we do use imperial measurements for strings, for sure. So even in Europe, you will be using imperial measurements for the strings, right? That's traditionally what we use. Also, a lot of the electric guitar, or just, steel string guitar developments obviously historically happened in the United States. So traditionally, that's what we use. But you can use metric if you want. That's fine. If you're a pilot, anywhere in the world, even in a metric country, you will be talking about feet, right? How many feet off the ground? Yeah. So I actually use a combination of metric and imperial on guitars, depending on what I'm doing. The nut height I measure in metric. Okay, with my metric dial indicator. But these basic measurements, neck relief, and string height, which is called the action, I measure with inches. Okay. Plumbers are another good example. Even in Europe, they talk about, you know, a half-inch pipe, 1-inch pipe, 3/4-inch pipe. Okay. I guess that's traditional in the plumbing business, what they developed, and, you know, I don't know the history of plumbing. Now, the relief is good, the nut is good. Now we want to adjust the action. We have a radius neck, I'm sorry, fingerboard, and it's a 7.25-inch radius, which is this one. So I basically adjust the height of the G string, then I adjust the height of this string by measuring the height from the 12th fret after the nut is good and after the relief is good. And then I adjust these two by matching the radius at the bridge to the radius over the frets. So let's do that. And the bass is in tune, like I said. So here, I already did some off camera. I think we should be good on this. It's sometimes hard to see. It's a little higher than I want it to be. I want it to be at 80/1000ths of an inch when all the frets are even, and which they are, because we did some fret work on this bad boy. So 81/1000ths of an inch. Let's say that this is just a little bit below now, and 101/1000ths of an inch on the bass side. Again, measured at the 12th fret against the bottom of the string. So that's a little too high, and that's intentional. That's how I roughed it in, so that I can lower the strings. And I want 101/1000ths, which is exactly what it is now, okay? Now, I want to listen to it, and I don't have it plugged in. I can barely hear it, but acoustically, I want to hear if it's buzzing anywhere. Now, there's something to be said about electric guitars and electric basses. They are set up lower than their acoustic cousins, which actually have high tension strings. The electric guitars have low tension strings and basses, kind of. So how come we can set them up with lower action if the acoustic versions of those need to have higher action to avoid string buzz, fret buzz? Well, that's because of the way that we amplify the sound. We are going to hear a little bit of perceived buzz, what's called perceived buzz in electric guitars, and we ignore that if it doesn't get amplified. But now I want to listen to it acoustically. You won't hear anything because I'm using a dynamic microphone, but I'm listening here. So just the G and now the low E. So with normal playing, I couldn't hear any buzz at all. So this that's good news. This means that I can simply lower this two remaining saddles, which are the A and the D strings. I think it would be better for you if I plugged it in. That way you can hear something. So I will plug it into the audio interface here. Okay, and now I need to turn it on here. I think you should be hearing the sound. I think so. Or maybe not yet. Maybe I need to also turn on. Let me see. Can you hear the sound? I do have 4 live viewers. Can you text me? I'm sorry. Put it in the chat. Can you hear the sound? Because I just want to make sure you can hear it. So I don't know if people are actively watching. There is a delay, obviously. Can hear, doctor. Okay, great. Thank you, doctor. All right, so here we go. So I can hear it acoustically, and that's enough for me to do this adjustment. I just put this here. These 2 strings are too high. Okay, so I'm simply going to lower maybe first the A string. Okay, so you can hear that it's starting to hit this, right? I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, now I need to check that the saddle is parallel to the bridge plate, which I believe it is. Now we do the same for the D string. And I think you can hear it better than I can because I hear a band in the studio next door. And I'm not running this through the amp. And I'm not using headphones. Okay, you could hear that because I could feel a little vibration here. Let me check if it's parallel. This one needs to go down, this side. Or this one needs to come up first a little bit, maybe. So the reason I want it parallel to the board, I mean to the plate, is so that you have kind of equal pressure on both screws. It's a flathead screwdriver. Okay, I think you could hear that, that it was hitting this thing, okay? And I check now, just want to make sure. I think this one is a little lower on this side than here. So let me raise it here a little bit, and I'm going to lower the saddle, I mean the screw on that side. Okay, now this one needs to come down. Yeah. This one should come down more. Okay. I think this is good. Now, that's the string height. We'll do the intonation next. Another thing, because the truss rod no longer needs to be adjusted, I can actually tighten all of these screws around. Okay, I just put them there so that I don't lose them. And there's one in the middle here. Should not forget that one. So yeah, I can see scratches here on the pick guard. Somebody was trying to adjust the truss rod without removing the pick guard at some time in the past. I don't know. It wasn't me. So on a Telecaster, or like this on a jazz bass, you can remove the pick guard to access this. And it's easier on a Telecaster because it's got also a little channel routed. I don't know why they don't do it on a bass like this, but okay. Now this is here instead of here because that's the old design. Leo Fender and company, they thought that bass players would be playing this way. It turns out that people play this way instead. Okay, but this is a reissue, right? So this is how it is. So we have this. Now, I did put a tuner here. Let's tune it. And it's got the reverse tuners. Old school. Okay. I'm just kind of double checking everything, just making sure. So this is still at 80. You know, this is maybe slightly over 100. And let me see. Sometimes you need to push it down, but this is the old string, remember? Yeah, that's slightly over 100. So I do want to lower it a little bit, so we'll have to readjust that radius. Sorry about that. Sometimes it's hard to see, you know, with a bass string, this measurement. Okay. Now let me quickly readjust this. I won't bring the camera here. I just want to get the job done, right? In fact, it's easier for me to do it when there's no camera in the way. Oops. Could go a little lower. There's no reason not to do the action nice and low. We did level all the frets, so. So I'm lowering and then raising the action gauge, not the action gauge, the radius gauge up to the string, and that's when you hear the buzz when it hits it. Okay. Okay, now we can kind of dial in the intonation, rough intonation. I'm going to spend too much time on it because then we're going to restring it and then just tweak it. And then the pickups, and we'll be done. Now for the intonation, it's already plugged into the audio interface. I am going to open GarageBand. It has a really good tuner. And then what I do is I have a monitor right there. I put the tuner on the monitor so that I can see it. You can't see it. One day I'll hook it up so you can see it, but I can see it right here. There's a monitor. And what kind of screwdriver do I need? Always use the correct size. So I'm going to check the other one. Yeah, it's going to be this one. Right. No problem. Let's turn off this tuner. Close enough for now. The intonation might change a little bit when you put new strings on. I don't want to go spend too much time on this right now with the old strings. Okay, it's playing flat. I did not lubricate the nut just yet. I will do it. Okay, close enough. That's close enough. We did have, if you watch, this is part 13, this live stream, part 12. I fixed the nut a little bit. We had some pinching of the string in the A string slot. So the idea with the intonation is to hit the octave on the 12th fret, right? To be in tune. Now it's a little sharp. I want to set it up maybe a little bit flat and then dial in the intonation with the new strings. Okay, that's a little flat. That's good for now. All right. So here, let me see. I need to charge my battery on my laptop. And this battery is okay for the sound. And my phone battery is okay, almost. I lost the switcher app. Okay, let's turn off the audio interface. And let's remove the strings. We put the new strings on now. I'm looking for my winder, not this one, the one for the bass. Oh, here it is. Oh, I want to talk about something important here, since we're doing this. It'll require a close-up shot. A strategically placed close-up. And focus. Okay, I think that's good. All right. So, break angle across the nut. We don't want too much. We don't want too little. So these posts are cylinders, right? They don't have a waist like that. So let's talk about this one. Let me just release the string tension. Because it doesn't have a waist, it can easily be kind of moved there. And now you tune the string. And as you can see, you don't have sufficient break angle across the nut. So this is going to rattle inside of the string slot. So now let's push it down. And let's put some tension on the string. Now you can see you have more of a break angle. And it would be good to have just a little bit more like this, so that it's more like the other strings. And as you can see, we don't have that with this many wraps. So that's going to play a role in where we cut the string. All right. It depends how thick the string is, because the thicker it is, the fewer wraps you need to increase this break angle on this particular post. And the thinner it is, the longer the string needs to be when you cut it, so that you get more wraps to get the break angle you want. And like I said, these posts don't have a waist like this. They're not slim in the middle. This kind of looks slim, but this is different. It's actually, well, let me remove this string. As you can see, when you look at it from the side, it's a cylinder, right? Now, it might look like it's slim at the waist, but it really is not. That's just this dimple here, right? That makes it look like that. So let me remove the strings. And I'm really interested to know how long this string is. So if I unwrap it, bass strings are expensive, so you want to make sure that you cut them at the right length. So I straightened the A string. That's the most critical one. The G and the D have a string tree. The E and the A do not. So I want to make sure I know where to cut them. So let's also remove the low E, well, the only E string, right? I keep saying the low E like on a guitar. There's no high E on the bass, right? All right. Okay, I'll set it up this way, and I will unwind this thing. So it's a good idea to take your time before deciding where to cut the string on the bass. Okay. Now, let's put the camera here and let's look at something. Maybe higher, maybe tilted. Yeah, maybe even higher. Yeah, that's good. And zoom in a little bit, just a touch. Or maybe not. Hold on. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, we need to be in focus. Okay, so this is the low E, the E string, right? It goes through the nut, and we can remember that this one is this long. So when we take the new string, we will cut it to this length. Because I did like this wrap, okay? I do wish that this tapered part was here, but it isn't. So I can't change that. But if the other string is the same from the new string pack, I will cut it at the same length. And now let's have a look at the A string. So the A string was too short. So if I measure it here, I want it to be longer than this. Maybe a little bit beyond this, around here. I'm just guessing, really. But I do want it to be longer. So now let's just remove the strings and open the new pack, and we'll install. I'm also going to lubricate the nut. I put some links in the description. Those are Amazon affiliate links. So that means that I get paid if you buy through those links. But it doesn't cost you any extra money. Amazon pays a commission. And, you know, I wish I didn't have to buy through Amazon, but that's a long story. It's another bedtime story for another day. All right. Here is a good example. I had to take the strings off and put them on a few times. And this is why, this is a good example why I like to use the old strings for a while. You can see here. Well, you know, the strings get fatigued, and as you can see, this broke. So we only have the core left. Okay, so we wouldn't want this to happen with the new strings, which is why I use the old strings for as long as I can when I work on a guitar or a bass, especially on a bass, because the strings are expensive. I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning here. I really should have done it before. In fact, I did. I just need to touch it up a little bit. Nothing really to talk about much. It's just a little cleaning. I'm using the Music Nomad guitar detailer. Just a little squirt here. Trying not to mess up the string height that I just dialed in, right? The instrument is a relic a little bit, you know, so nothing here looks new. But there, a little improvement here around the saddles. So the customer did supply the strings. Roto sound. And here we have the strings. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Let's do this instead. There is a, you know, you can tear it here, tear it. Okay. Yeah, same strings. Let's see. Let's see if this tapered portion is the same. So I don't want to disturb this at all. I just want to work around it. I'm pushing it down like this as I go in this direction. Push down on the saddle. Okay. So same thing with the other two strings. I'm going to put both of them at the same time, actually. Which I guess I should show from above. Push down on the two saddles. There. Okay. So now we need to cut them and wind them. Let's put this camera back here. So we did remember how to cut them. The first string is this one. I'm going to lubricate it later. Just going to put the strings up first. Just like that. And here was a little bit past this post. Just here. I can go around. And now I want to use the winder, but the camera's in the way, which is why it's shaking. Okay. So here you can see I really wish that this was here, not over there. Sometimes bass strings can actually break when you bend them around the post. This is why they're tapered here. This should be tapered here. Okay, that's okay. Now the A string, that was the critical one. We want the A string to be longer. Okay, so it's off screen a little bit, but like here. Okay, off screen. Let me just cut it. Okay, so this twists the string, but what I want to do is, after twisting it, I can untwist it like this. Okay, so make sure it's not twisting. And now I just do this and then put it into the string slot. How did we do? I think we did pretty good. I think it's sufficient, yeah. Could have been a little bit longer, but I think it's fine. And then these two aren't critical because there's a string tree. So one post and another one. Okay. Well, that's what it is. Okay. The last remaining string, I could even just not cut it at all. What am I doing? See, amateur work. This way. Okay, again, I untwist the string, hold it like this so that I can wind it. I like this Dunlop winder for the bass. I tried a few. The Dunlop works just fine. Okay, and now we have the A string has a sufficient break angle. Yeah, that's fine. Let's tune the bass. We'll check the intonation, and then we are going to dial in the pickups, and that's it. So I'm not going to tune it all the way just yet, because we want to lubricate the nut. I use this little product. It's the Music Nomad. Tune It, it's called. I like it. This is it. There's a link below. A little too much. You can see how this is done. I don't know if you do it or not. But yeah, this lubrication does help. And that's it. We're done with this. We're almost done with the whole base. And then at the end, you will see how I text the customer with a picture for the family album. Okay, so I can barely hear it myself, but I have a tuner here. Always check the saddles. This looks good. I don't really want to pre-stretch the strings, at least not too much. Especially not on the bass. So pre-stretching the strings is that procedure when you just, maybe just a little bit like this, just to make sure that, it settles everywhere, but it will settle once you play it, and the vibrations will help it settle, right? But you don't want to overstretch these strings because you want the winding to be tight around the core. And, you can damage the strings if you stretch them too much. Okay, so right now, I'm just using this tuner, which I actually don't need anymore because we are going to dial in the intonation. Just check it, basically, through the audio interface. But I do want to double check the action. Yeah, so here's the thing. Now, the E string seems to be a little bit higher, and that's because we get that arching across the saddle. So this is right here. We can kind of bend it a little bit. I mean, there's really no other way around it, so we need to bend it. I think the intonation is already good on this string, so now we want to just double check this. And it'll settle a little bit, so I don't want to overdo it. The A string doesn't really arch that much, and the D also. But I'm just checking to see what we got there. I'm going to double check the relief with the new strings. Mhm. If you use this StewMac straight edge, especially on the bass, it is quite heavy and it can scratch the frets. So I would recommend to be very careful. So I lift it very carefully and then I place it down very carefully. Okay. It's just good to double check everything. And now I'm going to plug it in again and then turn on the sound. Yeah. Now you should be hearing it. And let me see here. So sometimes the tuner needs to be turned off and back on. Okay, good. Five people watching. There are some comments. AB normal. Just put a new set of labella flats. Yeah, I love those strings. They're really good for the not the Jaguar bass, Mustang bass. Yeah. I like the 3-peg rule. Seems to work as long as you get the right set. Yeah. So the break angle is important, right? Slim at the waist, blush. Why are you blushing? All right. I'm not expecting to see a big change. So once again, I have the tuner here for those of you who are just tuning in. I have a monitor right in front of me, and it's the GarageBand tuner. It's very accurate. It's even too accurate. When it's too accurate, it doesn't commit to a pitch, right? A little sharp. Let me double check. Okay. Yeah, these tuning machines confuse me all the time because they're the reverse ones. I think on the wound strings, it's good to double check the intonation, right? Because of the way they sit across the saddle and I guess across the nut and across the fret. Okay. just a little flat. Yeah, somebody dropped off a guitar, a Les Paul Special 2 Epiphone. And, you know, I don't do rush jobs. But he has a workshop performance on the 13th. This is also good. So I might just do it today. He's also a customer at Music Makers at the studio, right? Which is a separate business, right? I just rent the space from them. But, you know, we really work together. A lot of reciprocal, you know, it's like a reciprocal relationship, I guess we could call it. Yeah. Okay. I am done with that. I'm going to turn off the GarageBand. And I turned off that sound. And now let's use the amp for the pickups. Now, you're probably not going to hear too much because I'm using a dynamic microphone right here on my headset. But, all right, I'll just, you know, dial in the pickups and that's it. Where's that screwdriver? Okay. And then I need to do just a little bit of cleaning, which I should have done already. So it's a jazz bass. It's got 2 pickups. First, I just kind of eyeball the height. I'm just pushing down on the strings here. Okay, here. Pushing down on the strings and looking at the gap. Yeah, I hardly ever measure this. And then I do a sound check. So I told a funny story. Was it yesterday? I was streaming, last time I was streaming. Like I said, this is a rehearsal studio here. Music Makers, Bob Elliott's Music Makers, NY. I have this little rolly thing here, and I have a mat here. It says Guitar Quackery. So that's here. So one day I come, just made me think of the story because of the bass. Last week, I don't know, 10 days ago, and somebody put a jacket and a backpack on the mat. I walk in, I'm like, who put his shit there on my mat? So, you know, I don't say anything. I just go do my work. 5 minutes later, Marcus Miller comes and picks up that stuff. That was funny. I didn't tell him anything. Maybe he's watching. Okay. What else? Oh, we're done. No, we're not done. I gotta listen. It's like, sorry. So I just dialed it in visually. And now I'm just listening. At the volume. So that's this volume. Just raising that bridge pickup a little bit, which is not surprising if you watched the previous parts on this playlist. You know that I shimmed the neck so that I could raise the saddles. So since I raised the saddles, I think that's good. Yeah, I'm good with that. All right. Okay, so now I am going to simply take a picture of this on my phone. And what I do is I put my logo there on that screen. And I kind of put together a little, oh, let's put the old strings away. I recycle strings, yeah. That has a good recycling program. They work with a recycling company, and that recycling company uses the strings, the metal, to make something, I don't know what, out of old strings. And they're not too picky if you put nylon strings or steel strings or phosphor bronze or whatever. They're not picky at all. Okay, we put this here, and maybe this neck rest just looks better. Take the Post-it note away. Okay, I'm gonna have to clean the bass just a little bit, wax it a little bit, and that's that. But let me show you the picture. So that's for the customer. I want this to be a conversation piece, right? So I want the customer to talk about the live streams. And just about, about the experience. Looks okay, I think. Maybe it's a little too high. Okay, so I just take a picture like this. And then, oh, I was gonna open the text message. I forgot to do that. All right, so let me do it again. Okay, so now let me show you this. It's a business card, basically. I just send it. I'll send it. Yeah, hold on. So this is the picture. So you see on the monitor, I had guitar quackery. So that's the bass. There's a camera here in the foreground. So then people can talk about the live streaming, and automatically they know that it was all done at Guitar Quackery. And I can just send the text. But obviously what I like to do is I just type a little message. All done. And then, boom. That's it. Oh, I sent it to the wrong customer. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Okay, friends. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, I see a lot of comments. Sorry, but I can't read them because I am a little bit behind with some other work. Okay, so oh, he texted back. Cool. All right, he might be watching, right? That was the idea with the live streams, to give the customers the opportunity to watch as I work on their guitars. Yeah. All right, kids, it's bedtime. So, well, it's your bedtime. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I got some other. So I might be working on that Les Paul. It's right here. Since it's here already, I really don't like to skip other things, but maybe I'll just quickly do this one and stream it maybe. Yeah. All right. So thank you for watching. And if this was any good, just, put, a click on that link. If you feel that I earned a coffee, you can click on the link that says buy me a coffee. Thank you. If you do, don't worry if you don't. It's all good. We're still friends. And that's it. And let me go, and I'll be back. Thank you. Bye.